I just made the stupidest tweet about this match. Get on Twitter and retweet it, guys. ByuN versus INnoVation. We're in the lobby. We're ready to go. I don't want to be the tease for too much longer. I want to explain to you guys what's going on. We'll tell you the full juicy details, but the first part of it is the teaser, the taste test, is we are planning to fund a training house in Korea. Now, some of you already have put this together, but there's a lot more to this. There's going to be foreigners and Koreans both there. You can probably guess at least one of the people attending if you've been paying any attention to Zombie Grub over the last 2 days. But we have a lot of plans, and there's going to be a really awesome follow-up. That's the big news. That's the news I'm going to save for the finals. So if you can consider it already, like the team house part, the training house, excuse me, not the team house. The training house is not the big reveal. That's like the first step to the big reveal, okay? But I want to make it clear because we're going to have to explain this pretty clearly over the next few days, over the next week. The house is, I guess we're covering the money for the down payment on the house type thing. The players are still going to pay rent throughout the year, and we'll talk more on that later. But we're really hoping to have 5 to 6 spots open in this house. And we know that not all foreigners can commit. Like, for example, somebody like Snoot might be very interested to play between, WCS events in Europe, but he doesn't want to miss out on dream hacks and things like that. So, again, more cool details to come, but I'm going to zip it for now, and you'll find out in the finals. We'll tell you the full story. But we are still trying to get INnoVation to join us in the lobby.
AFK'd. Look what ups.
Okay, so we'll say like 5 minutes. If INnoVation's not back, we'll start with the other semifinals and come back to this. Because Classic versus Impact on the other half. It should be noted, though, that all players at this point have earned prize money. So going forward, nobody walks away with less than $25. Although, what's 9% of 411? This is why they have calculator apps.
$1.
$36.99.
There you go.
So, nice.
That's what he said.
Thank you to Corvin1. He donated $5 to the prize, plus his awesome games. I hope all the codes have been used up. I actually have no way to check. I hope all the codes have been used up. If you guys have actually used up all the codes, you have literally saved esports with us today. Runamux says, will the replay packs be available to subs? Obviously. Hello, it's BaseTradeTV. And, Overgrowth's going to be the first map.
Yeah. Whenever we get the player.
Yeah. Thank you, Blunderful Guy, for the bits. Booty calendar hype. Guys, if I actually could talk Zombie Grub into this, I would 100% go through it. But I'm pretty sure she's going to be the holdup, okay?
Yeah, I think I would be.
It's just like, I have no problem admitting that I don't want to put my butt out there for thousands of people to ogle
It's not
online.
that great of a butt either. Like, it looks good in yoga pants because you have to have a really bad butt to not look good in yoga pants.
Right, but so here's the thing, right? On one hand, there's like an ass, an anonymous ass that is just a beautiful thing to look at because it's so nice. But then you have a butt that, regardless of how good or bad it is, it's attached to somebody important. Like, for example, I'm pretty sure Brad Pitt could get a dumpy ass butt and people still want pictures of his butt.
No, because Brad Pitt, a lot of his appeal was that he was cute and had a cute butt by being cute.
I'm just saying, Zombie Grub.
No, because it'd be more like, do you want to have Bill Clinton's butt calendar? It's kind of important, but do you want his butt all up in your face?
It might be hard to see with Monica Lewinsky always in the way. I mean,
that wouldn't even be real. That wouldn't even be like.
It's such a bad.
You're like so
it's
close
not even like
to like
topical
a good
humor.
joke.
Like, yeah.
You're so close to a good joke, but the point is, it's a butt calendar. So
It's like you know when you look
why
at
would
like
you be in front of it?
it's like your second cousin removed is what that joke was. Not quite family, but basically.
Good God.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, silliness aside, let's hop into it because we have quite the epic TvT. Spawning here in the top right side of the map, it's my pleasure to introduce our good buddy, our friend to the Korean scene, INnoVation.
The bottom left has the red Terran. He is ByuN.
Okay, so ByuN, believe it or not, guys, I think is my favorite to win this. INnoVation certainly is a good player, and I'm not saying he doesn't stand a chance by any means. Like, this is like a 51-49% split in my heart. But I'm believing in ByuN.
I will give it to ByuN as well. I think the last time these guys met, ByuN beat him, like beaten senpai type deal, and that's actually kind of what I'm most going to go off of. Otherwise, their TvTs, like both of them have really good TvTs, and both of them are excellent players, and both of them, at this point now, INnoVation has a bit of experience online, screen server anyway, so there's nothing to do with lag. And he's not like the levels of Korean that gets to an online tournament just like doesn't know what to do. Like great offline, but sucky online. INnoVation's actually pretty good online, so
yeah. Plus, he's been playing in everything. He's playing in Lifang. He's playing in SGL.
Yeah.
Like, INnoVation's really just blown up in terms of like playing and everything. I do want to address something though before we get into the game too far, and that's actually not to do with the sponsor of this, but Venny Penny in chat says, "God damn it, I hate jumping on Twitch really early and finding out there's a tournament that's been going on. Where do I find out about these small ones beforehand?" Your best resource to find all tournaments is probably the Team Liquid calendar. That being said, if you guys don't know, we have a website, BaseTradeTV. More importantly, we have a calendar on the website that marks all the events we're casting. Now, it wasn't up to date prior, but Riamar took it upon himself to actually go update the calendar on our behalf. So, that's a great way to track what we're doing and when we're doing it.
Yes. So, let's talk for each chat.
Oh look,
the build
is that my gosh, that might just be a Banshee. There's
right.
No way.
They both go on
is
base.
This what a crazy, we've never seen this before. This is like a Team Liquid versus Team Liquid matchup. It's rare, it never happens. It's a Banshee. Are you kidding?
Is this your joke of the week? Is this?
It's gonna keep happening. But
okay.
Also,
it's
unfair to say the week because it hasn't even been 24 hours since then.
Wait. You didn't start the Team Liquid. Did it start the Team Liquid things? I feel like it happened before.
Yord. I absolutely made it for the first time with the Yord tournament this morning.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
Okay, anyways, we know that this is Banshees because INnoVation and ByuN have played a lot on our channel. And more importantly, there's been a lot of TvTs out of ByuN more specifically. And every TvT has looked pretty much like identical. Not a lot of difference, not a lot of diversity, not a lot of crazy all-ins. So it's been Banshee pretty consistently, with the one change up being sometimes it's Banshee after instead of first. But either way, all roads seem to lead to Banshee as far as the builds go.
Yes. The butt calendar. Would it tell you when the full moons are? Oh, that's a good one. Oh god, that's so good. Okay. The Banshee point you made is totally on point, and it is usually followed up with a Raven. I really think like the Raven first or second, but the point is not last, is the way to do it.
We'd have to put the full moon a day late, so it's always a little behind.
It's like a mini butt the day after.
All right,
Oh,
so
goodness.
yeah, the Ravens should be able to take care of this. We actually, if you haven't been watching TvT, you've been missing out. A lot of good things have been happening in the matchup since the patch, but one of the big ones was the change to the auto turret. It deals 24 damage a shot. Oh, and the Widowmine's gonna get popped off too. ByuN handles this like a champ. But in the meantime, looks like he also lost his Banshee to the other side of the map. INnoVation lost a couple Marines for it, but that being said, nobody takes any damage and it's a bit of a wash.
Yeah, ByuN gets like the tiniest bit of an advantage off of it. So, yeah, I was saying that the Raven not last, I think, is really the way to go. I think just the fact that an auto turret can take out the Banshee, as well as obviously provide detection, is just so much better than getting the Viking first or second, or before the Raven.
Yeah.
And now the Raven's also going to be able to accrue energy and doesn't use it.
So the three biggest things that have really impacted the matchup are the changes that came with the patch. With the Raven, we've already talked about. The tank, we now know, can no longer be picked up and dropped with Medivacs, so Defender's Advantage has kind of returned to TvT in a small way. And thirdly, the Viking actually is really taken up root. Before, it was important to have air control, but it wasn't like win or lose, do or die. Air control now means a lot of different things, but most importantly, it means the Vikings can land and slaughter tanks and Thors. It looks so stupid watching 5 Vikings land to kill a Thor, but it happens, and it's happened on our stream already.
There are builds that entirely depend on Vikings accompanying a tank push for the air control. Those same builds are just so much more important, so much more potent because of the Viking change. So just as opposed to like an addition to your army, you really do feel like it's a very important unit to get, not just like a kind of clever plan at some point in a couple of your builds. Like, okay, I want to get the Vikings, which is something that you didn't really have to say beforehand. You could say, I want to get to Medivacs to drop, do the double tank drop, or I want to get to Banshees. Obviously, they open up with Banshees, but Vikings are super important early game units, defense units, attack units, and they still provide that air control. That is going to be very important, even if they both go for bio, which they both are. Marine tank versus marine tank, with some pretty equal Viking control in the sky, equal on the production tab for like everything.
Yeah, 5 to 4, 1 to 1 of the Raven. We'll see if there's much of a difference here. I do want to mention too, by the way, people were asking about the calendar thing as far as keeping up to date with things. I do want to stress, probably the #1 thing above all that, though, is if you're not following myself and ZombieRub on Twitter, we are more proactive on Twitter, I think, than any other form of media. So the best way to see what's going on, when we're going to be doing things, we're tweeting about events we're doing all the time. Now, granted, I shitpost on my Twitter pretty consistently. ZombieRub doesn't, so she might be the safer follow, but either way, follow us to best keep up to date with what's going on.
Yep. Well, the upgrades are on the way a little bit faster for ByuN. ByuN did get the tiniest bit of a lead in the early game. He killed more units, and his command center was on location as an orbital faster, too. So it's like kind of reflecting in like certain locations, upgrades in the army supply. But it's not something that is really going to or should be the difference between winning a fight, winning the game, and not winning the game. Both of these guys have such good Marine scouts, by the way.
I know, the whole map's pretty much revealed. This Widowmines, this Marines, they're all split out, and they want to just catch drops, but nobody's dropping. They're both playing macro.
Yeah. The only spots that are being seen is like the top left and the bottom right. I remember a couple of games, there's at least 2, but one actually lived for a very long time, where someone took their opponent's corner base, and it was never scouted. That was a great game.
Overgrowth had a lot of really weird games, just generally speaking, though.
Yeah, well, their expansions just started being like, pick expansion, go for it. Especially the Zerg. They were like, well, I'll take my gold. No, I'll take your gold. No, I'll take my third. I'll take my force of the third. I'll take my natural and a third base. Like, they're crazy over the place in Overgrowth.
By the way, thank you, Run Amok, for subbing. Sorry, we missed that because we were talking about butts earlier. I think he's one of the guys looking for the replay packs. I'll be sending out the ones from the Yord Woodwatch tournament this morning, too, where we did have some more really awesome Korean participation. But the tanks came down the right side for INnoVation. I don't know he can really get a good position here on ByuN. There's been a lot of times where we've talked about the third leading into the natural and all that, but this is kind of just a hard position to take. Tanks dealing 70 damage a shot do some very serious damage, so other tanks have a hard time pushing in. Ravens come into the fight, auto turrets go down, and this is an odd fight for ByuN to take, but neither player's got sieged up tanks. So I don't really know how this goes, other than badly for ByuN. Although he does have new tanks reinforce, so he's going to push this forward. Those 3 tanks that sieged up down here ended up being the cavalry.
I actually thought he would do better because he had Marines.
Oh, well had past tense Marines.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. But while the army fight kind of is a wash, and they both go back home and just recollect themselves, ByuN gets pretty far ahead on the 2-2. His combat has only just finished, which like contributed to the way that fight happened, but his 2-2 would finish like 40 seconds faster than INnoVation's.
I don't know if there's really patience in chat or not. I hope it is. So he's going to stand on top of these tanks, and 2 tank pickoffs are kind of huge. INnoVation's not going to be fighting in ByuN's line of fire just yet, but that tank count now is 5 to 1 in the favor of ByuN.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty substantial. Now, tanks are a very important aspect of TvT. You don't want to go tankless, like ever, but it is a case where sometimes having more tanks means like drastically less Marines. It can still even out the fight if the Marines get a good concave. So INnoVation, a little bit up in supply. He's not going to be busting into a tank line because that's just, something that's very foolish to do. But his lack of tanks doesn't kill him either. Like ByuN can't exactly push into this. So he'd have to unsiege his tanks and then go into a concave of Marines. Maybe if he could pick up his tanks.
Well, ZombieRub, that would unfortunately display a good show of micro and control and understanding of the matchup, which clearly no players had, so they had to remove.
No one could for sure win a TvT back then. It was all about enough passive-aggressive comments.
I know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I actually do love the tank change, and I think the current iteration is perfectly fine. I'm just so sad that they removed the pickup drop micro, because I thought it was a really cool aspect of the game, frankly. And
Yeah,
honestly, with the way I play, I don't know how to beat Vipers anymore without being able to reposition my tanks.
Yeah, that's true. It's different, I guess. You know, it's not any worse or better, but it is something that like everyone just like shit on so hard when they got the opportunity too. Like it was like the first thing everyone complained about necessarily, but it was like
it was like a
kind of like
bandwagon.
tanks. Yeah, I hate tanks too, man. The fight goes down here in INnoVation. He is kind of being hit by his black tanks, but then ByuN definitely oversees well done.
Yeah, ByuN's been over-dedicating for a lot of these and reaching way too far. The Liberator's also pushing his back. I mean, you might have 7 tanks to 1, but Liberators will beat all. Tanks are going to take some pretty heavy fire from the Marines, and ByuN's not got that buffer. This is looking bad. INnoVation's pushing through it. ByuN loses everything. There's no reason he should have been there.
40 army supply lead. Still has 40 army supply lead. And he is heading towards that third base, and I'm not sure if ByuN can do anything about it.
The problem is those Liberators. There's just no way for him to easily deal with them.
Yeah. You know, like you can run in and snipe, and if you're at an even army supply, it's usually worth losing like a 10 Marine to do so.
Pulling the SCVs.
But not even army supply.
Desperation setting in, and INnoVation just dancing like a champion, proving he's the real senpai.
Of course, ByuN would have said he was the real senpai in the first place.
I know, but he's proving it, just in case anyone doubted it.
Okay. Well, ByuN's gonna try the only thing they really do in a desperate situation, which is to base trade. Hope the game gets really weird. Hope that they have poor decision making.
The INnoVation's got too much, and it's just no way he breaks through this. The medevac's gonna heal out those Marines. The tank goes down. GG's get called, and INnoVation takes game number 1.
What a god.
Okay, well, we'll get into the second game as quickly as we can. Keep in mind, guys, Impact and Classic are waiting, so we're going to try and get these going as quick as possible. But we're going to go to a small commercial break, and we'll see you soon. All right, we're back and loading in. Oh, no, a white screen. Don't. Oh, no. StarCraft, don't you crash on me now. Getting into Echo. Come on, baby. Pull it together. Refresh? There we go. All right. Shout out to ByuN, by the way, using our Hell to Boot time portrait. Good guy, ByuN. He is down 1 in the game and in the bottom right, so none other than the blue Terran ByuN.
In the top left, as the red Terran, he is INnoVation.
I think ByuN's going to win this game. You know why?
Why?
Because INnoVation's red, just like my tie.
My tie. Could it be tied?
Yeah.
Oh, I get it.
Yep.
Oh, what is happening? Oh, I'm watching Golden. What is it?
Is he jumping all over the screen like a crazy person or something?
He just did what Olivia does, and just like put his camera in the bottom corner.
Okay, well, I don't think too much changes with the openings in these. Maybe one of these games somebody gets crazy and, you know, proxy Reapers. Obviously not here, but other than that, your Terran openings are kind of limited. You do the 2 Reaper, the Hellion opener. Sure, maybe that's a little bit different than other variations, but you're still probably going for that Banshee. And I think a big part of why you go for that Banshee is because there's always a chance that if INnoVation or ByuN are changing up their builds, the Banshee timing ends up being just perfect and stalling out that said build. It's just, I don't think with 2 players of this caliber we're gonna really ever. You probably do like 50 TvTs in a row between these 2, and like maybe 4 of the games have like CC first or something weird like that.
CC first. What?
Well, not first, but you know what I mean. Like, sorry, build order wise, like you're going for the CC after the barracks, not like an extra
I know.
factory. But oh, hold my tongue right now. Forsooth, ByuN actually does just that. I don't like this. I don't like this because INnoVation is almost for certain going for the Banshee again, and it should get over here in time to stall out the SCV, make this super annoying, and if there's 2 Reapers and a Hellion that follow it up, then he doesn't even have to police the command center. He can just leave the Reapers and Hellions over here while he causes havoc in the main of the Banshee.
Well, nothing has changed in the early game, so like the one racks expand, I think, is less popular. The one base 1-1-1 is just going to be like the thing to do for quite some time. But things usually settle so that if you one racks expand, it usually means you're going to go defensive. Like you're going to get the Raven first, or sometimes the Viking first, and you're going to get maybe even a Cyclone. Like people are still doing that, and I think you're okay. Like I don't think it's as devastating as the picture you paint, but it can be.
It can be. You're right. Sorry, I'm being a bit hyperbolic, but you're true. Like it's just because we've seen, I think, those games happen more often than not. But at the same time, like if ByuN stabilizes, what usually ends up happening, I'm going to say in like the even games, is INnoVation will get in with the Banshee or whatever he's bringing, and it'll kill enough SCVs to even it up while his own command center finishes back at home. And timing-wise, then the game evens out, and it's usually nothing too insane. ByuN, we'll see what he puts down first. With the Tech Lab coming down, I'm not sure if he'll swap the Starport or not. INnoVation will have that Banshee get there first. There was a long time, by the way, where in this matchup, the rule pretty much was if you got to your opponent's base first with the Banshee, you won. Not the case anymore. Reaper also gets up here to scout. He's going to see the timing on the Starport just finishing up and probably know, actually without the Tech Lab swapping over, that there's not going to be a Banshee for him to worry about.
Yes, and that means he might want to go for a second Banshee. The problem with the second Banshee is that, of course, either they go for a Banshee and you have that weird, like, oh, it's going to kill his CVs, okay, that's how it goes, or they went defensive and a second Banshee would be useless anyways. But, like, ByuN did neither, like, one of those. He went for a medevac draw, which I think is kind of like, it's not like the most dangerous thing to do, but it is that middle of the road, just like, okay, well, I'm not also getting a Banshee, but I'm not defending that well either at home.
Well, yeah, so he puts a Widow Mine down, and with a Raven, I mean, even though he doesn't need the Raven in terms of like defending against a Banshee, the Raven auto turrets will actually deal with the drop, funny enough.
Yeah.
3 missile turrets come down out of ByuN, so this is already costing him a bit more. This is like, yeah, even the Widow Mine on the backside. He's going to take no damage from this Banshee, ideally.
Yeah, that's what's really important, is they did like see there was definitely a Banshee, and he's prepared for it even as he drops.
Well, whether the questionable Banshee does damage or not, INnoVation is having a hard time defending his natural. That Widowmine did not get the pop that he wanted to. That medevac soaked all the hit.
There's the Raven though, and that should be
But can he get it before he has to cancel? That's the real question.
I think he actually put that a little bit too far behind. Yeah, he's got to cancel.
Oh, this is so bad. And the Widowmine goes off again. So that helps clean up the drop. Okay. Loses the medevac, that kind of sucks. But man, ByuN, this was something where I did not expect that to get a cancel. Like a full cancel seems like way too much for what that drop was.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. You know, it doesn't get a full cancel. INnoVation like micros his Banshee, so it doesn't get lost. It just doesn't do much damage, but it can do damage later on. That's what I expected to happen, but definitely some mistimings and miscontrol on both sides, as ByuN did end up losing that drop when he probably should have saved it, added into this army here. Where does that leave us in the game overall? ByuN is going to have a 3rd CC done by the time INnoVation's natural is done. So it's kind of grim for INnoVation.
Grimovation? I told you it was going to tie. I called it, didn't I? I may have gotten the CC thing wrong, but no, actually, INnoVation is one of these players though where like even when he should be behind, he's not. Like, you know, he's got such good control and over the game. But ByuN go for that 3rd CC, really exercising his victory in the early game. I mean, INnoVation, he starts up his, but the natural's still not even done. Timing-wise, just not in his favor. 10 SCVs behind. That sucks.
Oh boy.
Okay, the auto turret goes down. But the full unload does as well.
I don't think he anticipated the natural being broken at all. Well, it's not really broken, but they wouldn't get past the Vikings, basically. So, it doesn't take too much damage, regardless. This was INnoVation's hope that it would kill at least like 10 SCVs, but ideally more.
I really believe this had the potential to do a lot of damage, but unfortunately, this one awkward tank that was back here saved ByuN straight up.
Yeah. INnoVation, it is a good thing he basically double expanded. He definitely need to catch up there. But he's just, I guess, just like the SCV count's really not great to even utilize a 3rd base. The orbital will be quite as fast as ByuN's either. He does have stim faster, so he's getting like that faster, better production. That's a bit of the trade-off, but can he do anything with that? Like, by the time he's ready to go with stim, 100 seconds later, ByuN should have solid defenses set up, or be attacking and forcing INnoVation to be the defender.
Actually, what I like a lot better than stim is you You know firsthand, combat shields, which is starting up for ByuN way before INnoVation. That's
Yeah.
that's gonna be the killer.
It's got that faster upgrade. Already on a +1. INnoVation has to have some pretty key positioning to defend against this. He does protect both of his bases. That was the #1 problem that existed for him, and it kind of exists on Echoes in all situations, that you protect one base pretty damn well, but then they kind of abuse that little, like, the ramps going into a choke in the middle, use it against you. This actually isn't that incredible damage. Does do annoying damage. The gas guys are going so quickly. INnoVation take his third gas geysers.
Is he gonna focus on the Vikings? I guess if he got them both with the Marines, that would have been worthwhile, but INnoVation does hold. Pushes that back.
Uh-oh.
But he could land the Vikings on top of the tanks if he was paying attention. Vikings would destroy these tanks. I don't know why he's not doing it.
I think if it was full health Vikings, he would. I mean, wait, would he even be shot at all? Like, I think he could.
No, I don't. Like, there's entirely dead zone here. I don't think he's thinking about it, or maybe he doesn't know about it, but for those who don't know why we're getting antsy about this, Vikings went from dealing, like, barely 12 damage or something to the ground to dealing 20 damage a shot to anything mechanical on the ground. So, specifically, tanks.
Unfortunately, INnoVation deals with it with his own tanks, so he just puts them in a very vulnerable position, and ByuN marches in and takes care of it.
He's got the weapon upgrade advantage too. Stim's kicking in a second, and of course, Combat Shields is going to make his Marines so much better. Like, you are Superman better with Combat Shields.
Yeah. INnoVation losing those tanks is a really big deal. They were the defensive unit that would hold on to the game, so that he could maybe catch up with some of his own good drops and good positioning. But without those tanks, I don't know if he can do it. I think ByuN might just be able to steamroll him, almost doubling the army supply.
I really truly feel like the way he used his tanks there was not just bad because of the positioning, but I just less efficient than using the Vikings. You saw how long it took to kill those tanks.
Yeah. Oh, there is no advantage for INnoVation here.
No, he's gonna try, but
that early game was so much more brutal than it really was supposed to be. I mean INnoVation was the one that went for the one base attack, yet ByuN's 2 base attack is what killed him.
ByuN's early command center is so uncommon in the matchup, and for a lot of reasons, meaning that it usually is because you'll fall behind from it. The fact that he got a head off of it blows me away. That's just ByuN being awesome for you. Picks off the Vikings, strips away some of that control, micros down the tank, pulls back the Marines, and keeps them alive. ByuN, are you serious right now? You're so good.
It's gotta look fancy in the last couple seconds.
Right?
He might get cleaned up here. It's a pretty good sandwich for INnoVation, but the reinforcements are on their way.
Yeah, and I feel like with a 4th base on the way for ByuN, he's not too worried about losing a bit of army in the front lines. I think one of the biggest things he picked off, though, was not even just the tank, but getting rid of those Vikings. Then there's nothing to really shoo away those medevacs like there have been up to this point. I don't think INnoVation can really afford to make medevacs either. Oh, a little bit scary, a little bit tight. ByuN's not going to go for it. But while the army's out of position, he moves in his other army, and tanks are with these ones.
Yep, he's going to start sieging up that 3rd base, and I don't think INnoVation's going to be getting that same sandwich opportunity. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, no repair. That's way too much. There's already way too much, let's be honest. We knew this game was going to go in the favor of ByuN, but he's finally making it happen. Marine's going to push this back and clean it up once again, but it's now 4 bases to 2.
Pull the SCVs. Go for INnoVation.
You got to pull the boys. Make something happen. He's a whole upgrade behind, too, which sucks. ByuN's now on 2-2 with a weapon upgrade on his tanks. Like, every little bit of this game. If ByuN were to lose this, I would be shocked and astonished.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. The bets on this are actually really scarce, by the way. We had 10,000 Partoufs bet on ByuN and 7,000 on INnoVation. The disparity isn't so crazy. It's just that there's really nobody who was willing to bet. I think everyone was too scared.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure who would win. I'm really surprised INnoVation's still in this game. If he had the 3rd CC, I don't judge nearly as much, but losing that should have been the real closer.
Yeah, the upgrades.
Oh, and killing your units.
Oh, that's him saying I'm so mad. We just saw emotion from INnoVation, guys. Do you realize how big of a deal this is?
Anger, killing your own units, anger. This is often.
No, I think he. If I had to guess, if I was in INnoVation's shoes, I would be particularly pissed off about the opener and the way that game went. But we got game number 3. It's going to decide everything between these two players. We'll be back in a minute. Well, 2. All right. Hey guys, we're back. Oh, did you add Golden to Real ID or something?
Yeah, which is weird because he didn't show up originally. So I was like, oh, I guess he hasn't taken my request yet.
Because he's still just Golden for me. So I was like, why are you asking Golden? Who are you? That's so mean. Anyways, folks, it's gonna be game number 3. INnoVation chose Habitation Station. I don't even know what to say about that. That's just a weird freaking choice.
Yeah, this is probably the map we've seen the least.
I don't know that we've actually seen it at all, at least in terms of casting. I've played on this a couple times, gotten tilted, but...
We did. I remember because I talked about the shallowness of the ramp. Well, that might have been due to the Fang Cup. I don't know.
Well, either way, we're going to get a peek at it here. I don't even think it'd be worth doing a gold-based liftoff anymore, by the way, with how many SCVs you start with. It'd probably actually be hurtful more than helping.
I don't think you ever did that in TvT, did you?
Well, no, but I'm just, like, I mean, speaking of the map in general, right? Like, you would actually lose out on so much income in the time it took you to fly because you'd have so many more SCVs mining.
Yeah, Gangnam, South Terran, not a thing anymore.
Well,
womp womp.
We are in game number 3, everything tied up. The winner of this goes on to the grand finals, where they'll fight against either Impact or Classic, who are still waiting to play their match out after this. So another best of 3 and then a best of 5 finals. I hope you guys have been enjoying the show so far. Spawning in the top left side of Habitation Station, we've got the BlizzCon champion himself, ByuN.
And top right is the red Terran. He is INnoVation.
Okay, so we haven't talked about the prize pool much, but we did get a dank top off there, as we're at 420. 420.
Heyo.
Why is that number hilarious? 69. Thank you so much for helping us raise the prize pool to what it is. If you guys are feeling generous, if you want to give these players a little bit more money, that prize pool is your bridge to do so. BaseTradeTV doesn't touch a single dollar on that page. That goes straight from Matcherino to the players and their payouts, whether it's PayPal or whatever they choose to do. So we've been working with Matcherino for over a year at this point. They're more than trustworthy. They've been very good with the money. I was very tentative when we first started working with them, but they've been absolutely fantastic at helping facilitate events. And half the prize pool came from them. $200 through those codes you guys helped us cash in on. Thank you so much, everybody.
Very cool. So, one base versus one base. It's what we were expecting in most of these games anyway, but I think especially in Habitation Station, where a lot of this map was about how close you were to your opponent via air. You put that Stargate right up against the ledge, and it's there in like a second. So same thing when it comes to Medevacs, Banshees, Vikings, Ravens. As both those units have become more aggressive as StarCraft 2 has lived. Yeah. Raven harassment's pretty good, Vikings landing pretty good, but of course more so on the Medevac and the Banshee.
By the way, Mr. Darwood in chat saying, do Rifkin and Zombie stream their own games? Sometimes, by the way. Yeah, not a whole hell of a lot, because honestly, guys, when we're done with 6 hours of casting, we gotta do like 3 more hours of planning, and then it doesn't leave us much time to stream. But I was streaming my games the other morning, and I think I pissed off all my viewers, although it kind of proved my point that long bullshit games bring in the viewers. I think we had an hour-and-a-half game on Bounty Research Station, and I ended up with like 5 times as many viewers as I ever have on my own channel, my secret channel.
Well, I also don't want to watch a Villa.
Who?
Starburst.
Yeah. And of course, Zombie was streaming some of her games too before she would do stuff at set up at the PC buying stuff. So yeah, sometimes. But honestly, guys, it's more about these players than us. And before anyone asks us to do a best of 3, we've done more than enough. Check YouTube. There's like we've done like 3 or 4 best of 3s, and everyone always wants more.
They're never any fun.
Well, maybe not for you.
Actually, one of them was fun. The random versus random.
Yeah. And then that stupid one with the SCVs. I know you call BS on that one still, but that was fun because it was just dumb.
It's still so mad. It was supposed to be a bullshit game, but I started off still behind. It made me so angry.
Thank you, Wyneck, for the 15-month resub. What do you know? Banshees and Banshees and Banshees and Banshees.
Whoa. Oh. Of course, the question is, do they follow up immediately with the Raven? And it is the safest thing to do by far. If you go for a second Banshee, maybe you can defend with, like, a Widow Mine and a handful of Marines and a scan, but I think it just, especially because the Raven's going to be so much useful, has so much use as the game goes on, you get the Raven.
It has so much useful. Yeah, I know.
Yep.
I just realized, is there like a pylon in there? Oh, I just can't see through the fog of war. Never mind. Banshee will be able to cancel out the command center. ByuN's gonna be a little bit surprised though, because INnoVation built his in the main, playing it very safe.
Yeah. Did he do this? He did this in the first game too. He just anticipates Banshee when it was natural.
I like that he plays it safe though, especially with the way the last game went for him. I mean, I bet you he's still a little bit grimaced about it. I don't think INnoVation's the guy who holds grudges, but that first game was nasty, or second game was nasty for him.
It's like, you're no longer my pupil.
I have literally never seen a player like out of frustration kill his own medevacs before tapping out though. Like most of the time we see these guys just take their hands off the keyboard and their APM drops to 0. He's gonna kill a depot, by the way. This is the revenge of INnoVation, guys. Seriously.
I don't know if he was frustrated or he just like wanted to do something at the end, because you see people like dance their units or
I need to
suicide
believe that he's not actually a human being, and that was frustration and anger coming out of the emotional INnoVation outburst.
One of the Protoss just suicide his units in on purpose, so that was like 5 seconds. But sure, yeah.
Zombie Grub?
What?
INnoVation's a person. Don't take that away from him.
Well, how am I doing that?
By the way, this saturation, I bet he cannot wait to transfer these SCVs over as he starts setting up his natural. ByuN got stalled out for a while, and the depot going down was maybe not the hypest thing of all time, but it's one of those things where you're worried, I think, in the early game about Terran especially, getting supply blocked. So, while he knew he couldn't do much because of the Raven, I like that he still found a way to get damage done.
Yep. Yeah, and INnoVation feeling confident enough to push out in the middle of the map. They're going to have roughly the same units, the same type of units, and the same amount of units.
Oh. I forgot players did this.
That's clever.
This was something done for a while, too. You would do this specifically to catch the Viking.
6. The Banshee from ByuN just did a bit of work in INnoVation's natural.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, and I didn't see it because I'm an amazing observer. Thanks for pointing it out.
I would never point that out.
No, I mean that the Banshee was doing
fun of you on stream. I know. I know. Because I would never point out you're bad observing on stream.
There's so many different ways. I want to respond to this.
You do it to me.
I know. I want to respond to this, but I know that this is like, I feel like the StarCraft equivalent. Yeah, it's a trap. Like, does my butt look good, big in these pants? You're like, don't answer. There's no good answer to this.
Oh God. All right, so
I'm treading carefully.
Kind of confident. Actually feeling pretty confident in moving his army forward here. I mean, clearly he has to go up a ramp, so I don't know why he's feeling that confident. But he does.
Probably because his butt looks fantastic today. Confidence at the wazoo. He's going to put down the point defense turret. I think you want to come in and drop auto turrets on top of the tanks, but keep in mind, these Vikings can do that job if necessary. Marines do pick that off. Yo, Marines shoot projectiles. Why do auto turrets not shoot them down? The projectile a Marine shoots out can't be much bigger than a Hydralisk spike. They're literally a Gauss rifle that shoots spikes out.
Right? Like, it actually hits the unit regardless if you pick up a Marine.
No, it's not technically a projectile, but I'm just saying it should be. It's like a bullet's a projectile. Like.
Well, yeah, that's a video game technicality, right?
It's like stealthing, but that's another topic, I guess. Stims finishing up for both these guys as we speak. Production's looking pretty matched. Both players on thirds. This game is looking pretty fantastic, and not like it's going to be a big mistake that ends everything. What did I reach? Oh my God, the genocide that just happened. I can't believe it.
So good. So good. It's not genocide, it'd be civil war.
Civil war is PvP, though.
So, unfortunately, INnoVation, as he was a little bit too bold, lost that one tank. He probably could have repositioned the third and denied it for ByuN. Instead, he was forced back and is now trying to regain that same position. So the third is up and running for ByuN. I didn't think that was going to happen.
Right, but I mean, he made up for it with a Liberator, and this gives him a lot of control because he owns the sky currently. Now, ByuN's going to try and take this fight. If the Marines are involved, he might just take it at that, but the Viking count with one extra might have been more than enough to do this over. I love the split in DPS, by the way. ByuN ends up just taking the fight barely at the end of it.
Just barely. Liberator's gonna try its luck just doing some harassment as opposed to trying to end the game by pushing the tanks back. But INnoVation does take a good engagement, even if he does lose the Viking War. He's got a bit faster upgrades, faster combat shields, faster orbital. I didn't realize ByuN still was holding off on his orbital. And is still looking good in this game.
Well, I think it all depends on what type of hair he's got going on right now. ByuN's like a 50-50. When he cleans up good, like at the esports awards. But his like regular like froofy hair that's all over the place and matted, like he had at BlizzCon. Not so good. Okay, well, I gotta say, for ByuN and INnoVation, I guess the upgrades are kicking in a little bit late. There was a lot more focus on that early game, so we're not exactly seeing anyone ready to push out for round 2 just yet. INnoVation's left that wood of mine positioned up here. I wonder if that turret... Oh, it's a sensor tower. Let's see, I wonder if this was a turret, would that actually have detection range on the widow mine?
Maybe. Now this push looks maybe deadly. The upgrade lead might be in effect, depending on how aggressive INnoVation is. 4th base on the way for him. INnoVation's not really to worry about any aggression besides that single Banshee that killed a couple of workers. He is freely expanding on location.
It's hard to break into tanks that are already sieged up. INnoVation knowing that there'd be something there does back away slowly, and more to the point, he needs to get those Vikings away from anything if he wants to actually fight them. Raven's sitting over here waiting for some auto turret harass. I like this. These will deal a lot of damage. They'll one-shot SCVs with 2 of them going at a time. 24 damage a shot is stupid amounts of damage, and 7 workers die in 7 seconds flat.
Nice. Now, ByuN is holding, defender's advantage, tank advantage, TvT, all that. His best bet is to try and abuse his Viking lead. I mean, that's some of what happened in that first game that led to INnoVation's victory, even though ByuN had a pretty good early mid-game. The INnoVation just kept his Vikings and was able to shoot down medevacs, was able to push forward, scout better, actually had like vision when there's like grass and stuff like that. It all does add up. As the games get maxed out, it usually doesn't become the most important thing in the world, but sometimes it still is. And ByuN could still, if he wanted to, really try and win the air war, like actually secure it, get liberators, and push forward once he's maxed out. But he is, of course, taking a much longer time to max out. That's his problem right now. And he's not getting a 4th base. I think he might want the gold. That would be very hard to secure, though. TvT especially, the gold base. As soon as you lose this middle war position, it's game over for your base. Oh, no. Oh, that attack into the 3rd base. He went for the command center to the SCVs, I guess, so it wasn't as devastating as it looked.
Now he's in an odd spot as he picks up, though, to fly away. Let's not forget, guys, INnoVation's fighting with some extra gusto this game. Seriously, he's the one been doing all the cool moves. ByuN's been responding pretty appropriately, and it's not like he's dying off of it just yet, but this drop in the main gets caught. Marine's going to focus down the medevacs, but that gives the Marines on the ground time to focus the other Marines. However, they decide to kill the SCVs instead. Now INnoVation's drop gets cleaned up. Does he have time to make a move down here? Tanks in range of that tech lab are going to be able to shut down the factory from building. Well, we know he's scammed for it.
Oh, the 4th base of INnoVation was attacked for a little bit too, so again, 6 SCVs go down, but planetary wasn't going to be too much.
Okay, well, this is actually INnoVation kicking off his 3-3. Not massively, but there might be a timing in the game where his Marines take a really just fantastic fight because of this. But with the Liberator out, he really... he's going to try and snipe this off. He needs to snipe this off, even if it costs him his Marines.
Yeah.
This gets in some range for some serious damage, though.
It's the unfortunate about Liberators and Marine team versus Marine tank is that you really need... You need great tank cover as well as more than just a couple Liberators to really abuse them versus Marines.
INnoVation taking a great fight in the middle of the map, catches ByuN, trying to catch him from behind, and now INnoVation jumps up and supply a rather large amount, dropping the Marines on top of the tanks directly, picking apart the defense of ByuN. Moves his tanks forward. Viking's gonna land, but they're actually in range of the tanks, so no bueno over there. ByuN can drop on top. This is gonna leave the Liberator to clean it up as he tries to jump over to INnoVation's reinforcements, but ByuN is falling behind further and further in this game, and I think INnoVation has done it. He's broken ByuN. GG. ByuN, for like one of the first times ever, is not going to be in the finals of our tournament, but instead it'll be INnoVation. Next up, though, we have the other semifinals match that's been waiting on us. It's Impact versus Classic. I hope they're not asleep, because that TvT, let's be honest, that took some time. But a PVZ coming up next, guys. Winner plays against INnoVation in the grand finals, and of course, when the grand finals happen, we're going to unveil the rest of our plans for things